He's giving it his first shot. I need you guys to give him some love. Please give it up for Jared Jacobson.
Yeah.
Well, nice to be in your company tonight. Somehow last November, I finally made it to my 39th birthday. Thank you. Milk does the body good. Take note, vegetarians. But it's a surreal time for me personally because, as a cultural observer, I'm noticing that we're coming upon the verge of a new generational rift. If you've been online for the last couple of years, you've probably heard of something called "Okay, Boomer," which is what the young people say to the older crowd when they think they're getting bad advice or they're being lectured to or just want to be little turds. I don't have a dog in the fight one way or the other because at my age, I can be dismissed as an old fart or a young punk depending on who's losing the argument. I will, however, say that since the boomers were the ones that said, don't trust anyone over 30, well, I guess this is a perfect example of payback being a bitch. As I said, I'm Generation X. I was a teenager in the 90s. I know that young people can be annoying little know-it-alls, but age doesn't always bring wisdom. When I was growing up, we weren't the first generation to have our morals, our patriotism, our manners, or our taste in clothing and music called into question. But while they dragged us through the mud in the media of the day, making us out to be the harbingers of the downfall of America, they also did everything they could to compare us unfavorably to the World War II generation. I don't need to tell any of you what big boots those were to fill, especially if you're a Tom Hanks fan. But what made it near impossible to live up to that image was the fact that generation was wrapped in a mythos that practically made them into omniscient saints that never made bad decisions. I mean, Tom Brokaw may not have started the whole thing, but he definitely tickled one too many buttholes when he called them the greatest generation, which was heard by many people to mean they were the last race of heroes on Earth. Well, don't get me wrong, they were a great generation worth looking up to, but in the meantime, their grandparents never got any sanctimonious titles, but then again, all they did was preserve the Union and free the slaves. What a bunch of underachievers, huh? There's riding the shoulders of giants, and there's riding the coattails. You young punks have no idea what Normandy was like. Yeah, you neither, old man. You're colorblind and you got flat feet, okay? You weren't over there. You were stateside joking their wives. You little punk! I did my part on the home front. You were a janitor at Sears and Roebuck. Shut up! Okay, fine. You bought a couple of war bonds. What do you want me to do? Bend over and kiss your ass? Look, you want us to have a better life than you did. Well, congratulations. I'm sorry you're a victim of your own success. God bless America. Young people, I haven't forgotten you either. You're not a mission either, and I know most of you know that. But for those of you under 35, there's definitely no lack of passion and ideology. That's why every week there's a new march or a new rally or a new protest about one subject or another. Very fine traditions. It's nice to see, for better or for worse, people taking a stance on something. But I'm warning you, if you rest on that as a laurel, all you're doing is making a lot of noise like a barking dog. Hey man, I made that poster at Kinko's by myself. I chanted the mantras 1,000 times. I did my part. Yet doing what? Fulfilling your quota for getting cars to honk their horns? Oh, okay. You're doing something rather than nothing. But if you want to change the world, you're going to have to do a little bit more than venting your outrage like a Swedish teenager that gets to take a year off of work for her panic attacks. Okay? Oh, I know what you're thinking. Well, what are you doing to make the world a better place, Jacobson? I'll tell you. Nothing. I don't got the answers, and I could be doing a lot more, I admit that. But this new generation of protesters obviously doesn't have the answers either. That's why they don't want to talk to the press. You ask them a couple of hard questions, and they rage quit on the spot into the silent treatment, and they glare and they pout behind a face mask like mommy won't let them put sugar on the oatmeal. And then they cinch up whatever hoodie matched their skinny jeans that day and chuck a couple of rocks through a window and think they're Tyler Durden from Fight Club because God knows a corporation can't afford to replace a pane of glass. Fight the power, white boy. But I'm sure it'll make a nice memory for you as you settle down to that lucrative career of selling overpriced, heavily caffeinated milkshakes at some corporate chain of coffee houses just down the street from whatever creative community you crawled out of but were too afraid to admit to your Yenta friends. I believe that's my cue. So TAFN, that's all for now.
Yeah!